All right, round 1 is over. Now they run it back. They meet again in the rematch. Who has the advantage now? You know what happens when fighters have a rematch? Well, obviously the winner of the first fight gets the opportunity to prove that it wasn't a fluke. They weren't just lucky to win the first time around. And the loser gets the opportunity to avenge their loss. But who really has the advantage? Listen, I can tell you from experience that it's an incredibly difficult position to be in. If you're the guy who won the first fight, the second fight is always harder than the first. Not only are you trying to beat a very game opponent, but you also have to deal with the pressure of proving yourself. Listen, no matter how confident you are inside or outside of the ring, if somebody's already beaten you once, there's always going to be that little voice in the back of your head telling you, well, what if it does happen again? What if I do lose this one? That fighter has to deal with that doubt, not only from the outside looking in, but from the inside looking out. If you've never had a rematch before, you don't understand what it's like. All you understand is that you got the W, you get the W, everybody cheers, and then you go home. But the next one's different because now you got to prove it wasn't a fluke. If you didn't, you could live with the what-ifs for the rest of your career. What if it was a fluke? What if I actually wasn't as good as people thought I was after that first fight? I remember having rematches where I was the champion, and I remember thinking to myself, wow, this is a lot harder than it looks. It's easy to look at a situation like this and think that the person who lost the first fight is in a better position. Because now they're hungry, they're angry, they want to come back, and they want to make changes and avenge their loss. But listen, this is why they call it the sweet science. Because it's a mental chess match, not just a physical one. Okay. If you're the guy who lost the first fight, yes. You might have all the motivation in the world to bounce back and win the second one. But listen, revenge doesn't win fights. Revenge doesn't make you a better boxer. If you're the guy who won the first fight, you're more likely to have the advantage because you've already been in there. You know what it's like. You know what to expect. You know what kind of adjustments you're going to need to make? You go into a rematch, it's almost like your first fight together was a chess match, right? You feel me? So you went in there, you did your thing, you came out victorious. But now in the second one, you know your opponent's gone. Nah, try to take away the things that you did well in the first fight. So now you got to figure out other ways to attack, right? So it's a chess match. It's a mental game. It's a physical game. It's easy to say, oh yeah, the rematch is always harder for the guy who won the first fight. But that's not always true, because it depends on the person, right? Depends on the fighter. A lot of guys will tell you that fighting the same person twice is much easier than fighting them for the first time. Because at least you know what to expect. Like I said, in my experience, I found that to be true, but it also depends on the person. Some people fold under pressure. Some people get that post-fight jitters. Some people start thinking too much. Some people get nervous, because now there's more at stake. Maybe they're fighting for the title, or maybe they're defending the title. Whatever it is, something else is on the line, and that makes it tougher, not easier. So it's hard to say which person has the advantage. The way I see it is, whoever is able to let go of the past, whoever is able to put that first fight behind them. Whether they won or lost, I think they'll have the advantage. Because listen, you have to understand that the first fight is over. You can't change that. You can't go back. You can't replay it. All you can do is look at what's ahead. All you can do is focus on the present. The present is the second fight. When two people fight each other for the first time, they're both in uncharted waters. They're both going in blind. They don't know what to expect. The second fight, though, there's a lot more tape. There's a lot more footage. There's a lot more statistics. So it's not like you're going in blind anymore. And for me, this is where experience helps. The best boxers, they've been in so many fights, they've seen so many different situations, they're able to use that experience to help guide them through tough moments. I am sure Floyd Mayweather looked at his first fight with Manny Pacquiao and thought about the mistakes he made. He probably watched the tape 1,000,000 times and picked apart every move. Every single thing he did, every single thing he said, everything, and he made adjustments. He goes into the second fight with a whole new game plan. We saw it play out. And even though Floyd won the first fight, he knew he had to make adjustments. On the flip side, Manny had to make adjustments as well. He knew he couldn't come out flat like he did in the first fight. He knew he had to come out aggressive and apply pressure, which is exactly what he tried to do in the second fight. Look, in the rematch, you have to learn from the first one. If you lost the first one, you got to go back and figure out why you lost. What happened? Did you come out flat? Were you nervous? Was the pressure too much? Were you trying to make your corner mad? What was it? You have to figure that out and fix it. If you were the guy who won the first fight, you also have to go back and watch the tape because you know the rematch is gone. Nah, be a different challenge. They're coming with a whole new game plan, so you better be ready for it. Listen, if you want to be the best, if you want to dominate a second time around, you have to take the approach that champions take. And champions, they do things differently. I'm talking about training, diet, mentality. Listen, when you're a champion, you train like a champion. You eat like a champion. You carry yourself like a champion. This is what it takes to dominate a second time around. And look, I can tell you from personal experience that the second fight is just as hard as the first. Maybe even harder, because now you're dealing with the pressure of proving yourself. Making sure that first fight wasn't a fluke. Listen, the second fight is always the toughest one. Whether you won the first fight or lost the first fight, it's always the toughest one. Why? Because now you're fighting with a target on your back? Now you're fighting with a sense of urgency? Now you're fighting with something to prove? In the rematch, there's more at stake. In the rematch, the pressure is higher. In the rematch, the stakes are greater. You know, I used to think that it was an advantage to fight someone a second time because you already knew what to expect. But trust me, it's not always like that. Sometimes it's the complete opposite. Sometimes you come in and you surprise your opponent. Sometimes you come in and you take away the things that they did well in the first fight. Sometimes you come in and you bring a new game plan, and you mix it up. Sometimes it is worse to fight someone a second time because now they're expecting you to do the things that you did in the first fight. It's like playing chess. You can't play the same move twice. You got to mix it up. You got to keep them guessing. But the bottom line is, whoever is able to handle the pressure, whoever is able to adjust and make the necessary changes, will have the advantage. And look, this is why it's called the sweet science, because it's a mental chess match, not just a physical one.